Margot Robinson. With the Church of Scientology having ribbon-yanking ceremonies for ideal orgs, it's disturbing to have local dignitaries participating because it gives the Church of Scientology an air of legitimacy and political acceptance. How do all of us out here get together to dissuade public officials from attending and participating in the ribbon yankings? Well, you let them know, and now it's a little hard to get a heads up on whether your local officials or something are going to be the ones selected to be part of these ribbon yankings, but this is a fairly specific audience of people, or specific targeted group of people, right? In other words, if you're in a city that has a Church of Scientology, which is being renovated and which is being set up for, this ideal org status, good. You're one of the people who should be more alert as to what the Church of Scientology is doing with what it calls PR area control. The Church of Scientology has people who work in it who try to gain PR area control. And that's the term they use for having positive thoughts and influence and opinions within the community about Scientology. And the way they do that is they make personal contact with the mayor's office, local government officials, the police, the fire department, anti-drug groups and things like that. And they tell these people that Scientology is allied with what they're trying to do, and therefore they should think positive things about Scientology. And they show them, for example, the anti-drug literature that Scientology produces, or the Narconon literature, or the Way to Happiness, or the Applied Scholastics. In other words, they use their front groups to front for them. They don't talk to the mayor or the city council members or the state representative about Scientology. They talk about the front groups, right? Because those front groups are there to gain public acceptance for L. Ron Hubbard and for Scientology. So that's the line they'll go in on. And it's very hard for most people to look at the Way to Happiness booklet and go, wow, look at all these 21 precepts about how you shouldn't murder, you shouldn't steal, you should treat others like you want to be treated. There's nothing to have a problem with about this book, right? So people accept it. That's what Scientology's counting on. So if you're a person who lives in one of these cities, or you're somebody who wants to counter that PR area control activity, then what you need to do is contact those city officials or county officials or state officials and give them the truth about Scientology and about those front groups. First, they need to know that it is a front group for the Church of Scientology. Usually, finding out that all by itself cuts the line, because Scientology is toxic as a brand. So if people find out that things are connected with Scientology, then, that will usually cut it off right there in the early stages. Now, of course, if you're going to have one of these officials speak at a Church of Scientology opening, they will have connected the dots between the front group and Scientology. So at that point, what you need to do, where the person knows that the front group is Scientology connected, then you need to bring them the truth about Scientology. And it usually has to be done through personal contact, because that's how Scientology is reaching out to these people. So Scientology presents a very good front face, very pleasant, very nice. We're the good guys. If you hear anything about us that you doesn't seem to make sense or you don't like, let us know. We'll give you the truth about it, right? Like, there's lots of, coaxing and working to get influence with these guys, right? And that's how that generally goes. It's not complicated. It's just that they do the footwork necessary to get these influence these officials. And so the way to counter that is to counter-influence it with the truth. Because, as I just mentioned, Scientology's selling lies. Well, if you tell the truth about it, almost anybody can see through Scientology's lies very, very quickly. So that's what you can do about that.